In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the chevron stitch. This is a little zigzag stitch that makes a great border. You have these long stitches that are done as a zigzag, and then perpendicular to them and parallel to your line, you have a very short straight stitch that goes across the tip of each V. So let's take a look at how to make that. To help with this chevron stitch, I've created some guidelines. I have two lines that are parallel. I did these about 3/8 of an inch apart on this example, and then I made some tick marks that are also about 3/8 of an inch apart to show where that V-shaped line should be. So we're going to go diagonal every other one. So to start, I've brought my thread up on one side of that tick mark, and I'm going to bring it back down just on the other side of it. This creates that short perpendicular stitch that you see at the base of each V. And just before that loop closes, I'm going to bring my needle back up on the line on that tick mark and pull my thread through. So now you have that perpendicular stitch, and this other thread is coming out right in the middle of it. So I'm going to go down right on that tick mark on that line, and then I'm going to bring my needle back up just on one side of the tick mark and put it back down just the other side of the tick mark. And again, pull this most of the way through, but leave a loop. And before that loop closes, we're going to come back up at that same point where the V came on that line, and then pull everything closed. So now there's a perpendicular line at the point of the V. And so we're not going to go straight across, but we're going to zigzag over one, down at that intersection, up on just one side of it, back down on the other side of it, leave a loop, come back up at the point of that V and pull everything through, creating that second V with that perpendicular line. So you can obviously vary this pattern by the scale that you use for the different lines, how close together they are. You could make these little perpendicular lines longer if you wanted. You could do multiple rows of these V-shaped stitches. And if you do forget to leave that loop, you can just gently slide that needle under that stitch and come back up at the same point, trying not to split any of the threads, which is why I think it's a little easier if you do leave a loop. But this is a fun little stitch. It creates a nice border, or could create a filling. It just depends on the spacing and how you want to use it. So this is a chevron stitch.